Welcome to Sri Chhatrapati Academy Study Ayush Forum. In the osteology series of upper limb, we have completed clavicle bone, we have completed scapula bone, its muscle attachments, and we have also created shorts on it. Okay. Now, our today's topic is one of the important bone of the upper limb is humerus. You can see the humerus. Humerus is only the longest bone in the upper limb. I am talking about upper limb. Don't think about whole body. Whole body femur is the longest one, right? It is as analogous with femur of the lower limb. Okay. Now, when we talk about the humerus, why the name humerus is given? There is one saying that when we hold our hand like this and it's accidentally touched or accidentally hit it to any of the surface, there is some abnormality you feel here, some tingling sensation you feel here. So the name humor is given because it is humor that a tingling sensation is created. So the name humerus is given to this bone. It is only said, it is not of any clinical importance. Okay. Now when we see, it is a one of the bone of our upper arm. It is a type of a long bone, and we have said that when there is a long bone, there is always the upper end, the shaft, and the lower end, right? Now, first, when we see any bone, we have to see its side determination methods, right? Now, if you want to see whether the bone is bone's upper part or lower part, always remember upper part has a rounded head and lower part is flattened. Okay, now lower end and upper end, there is no confusion, right? Now, when you want to see the medial end and the lateral end, the head is directed towards medial end. This is the head and it is directed towards the medial end. Now, about medial and lateral portion, it is correct, right? Now, when you want to know the anterior and posterior side, always remember there is a olecranon fossa on the lower part in the posterior side. See, this is the biggest olecranon fossa for the attachment of olecranon process of ulna during this movement. Okay, this over. Now we will see the upper part. Okay, see, this is the upper part. Upper part contains head. This is the rounded head. Okay, this forms 1/3 of the circle. It assumes to be having the 1/3 of the circle, and it articulates with the glenoid cavity of the scapula to form glenohumeral joint, which is also a type of ball and socket joint. It is not only bone to bone attachment, but there are many ligaments, many rotator cuff muscles present there that we will see in the next session, because the muscle attachment of this bone are very much, so it will not able to complete in this lecture. Okay, now when we see the upper end, there is head. We have seen head. Now the line which separates head from the rest of the upper part is your anatomical neck. Okay, now here there is somewhere present the epiphyseal line. Now the line which divides, epiphyseal line divides it from diaphysis and epiphysis. So there is a second neck present which is called as morphological neck. Now below morphological neck, 0.5 centimeter below the morphological neck, there is a presence of surgical neck. Okay, there is a presence of here surgical neck. Now at the upper part, let us see here the presence of greater tubercle and here the presence of smaller tubercle or lesser tubercle. Okay, greater tubercle is present on the lateral side and lesser tubercle is present on the medial side. Between them there is a formation of intertubercular sulcus or bicipital groove. Bicipital means double lip. Double lip groove is present here. There are many impressions on the tuberculous area of the humerus, and there are the attachments of many muscles. Now, when we complete our humerus upper part, let us come to the shaft end. This is the shaft. Okay, this is a long shaft. Upper part, here the upper part, the shaft is assumed to be round, and to the lower part it assumed to be in a triangular shape. Now whenever there is a triangular shape, there are three borders and three surfaces, as we know. So this, what we see, is the anterior border. This, what we see, is the lateral border, and this, what we see, is the medial border. Okay, now the surface between the anterior border and the lateral border is called as anterolateral surface. Very easy. Now the surface between anterior border and the medial border is called as mediolateral surface. Very easy. And the surface between the lateral border and the medial border is called as posterior surface. Now in the anterolateral surface there is a presence of deltoid tuberosity. What is tuberosity? Tuberosity is nothing but an irregular surface for the attachments of muscles. So here deltoid tuberosity is present for the attachment of deltoid muscle to increase its friction so it can't move. It is an evolutionary adaptation of the bone to catch or to hold, to encourage the muscles properly. Okay. Now in the anterior medial surface there is a presence of bicipital groove, there is a presence of nutrient foramens, etc. There are many. Now this is all about the shaft. Now when we come to the lower end, okay, lower end is seems to be flat, right? Now as it is seem to be flat, there are lateral side and medial side. On the medial side there is a presence of an bony elevation called as medial epicondyle. When you extend your this hand, here you can feel it while touching. So it is nothing but a medial epicondyle. And here there is a small bony projection called as lateral epicondyle, or it is called as lateral epicondyle. Now middle epicondyle is larger than the lateral epicondyle, as we see here very clearly. Okay. Now here there are two fossas present. This is radial fossa and this is coronoid fossa. How to remember? There is a coronoid process present on ulna. So at the ulnar side there is a coronoid process, coronoid fossa, sorry, and on the radial side there is a presence of radius. So on the radial side there is a radial fossa. Right. Now this medial epicondyle continue forward to form a medial epicondylar ridge. Ridge is nothing but a lining elevation. Okay. And lateral epicondyle further forms the lateral epicondylar ridge. Okay. Now when we see the posterior surface, there is a presence of olecranon fossa. Ulna has two processes, olecranon and chronoid, like this. This chronoid processes goes backwards and stays in a olecranon fossa present in humerus, and this is a coronoid process which lies on the coronoid processes. Right. Now let us see what are these two articulating surfaces. These two articulating surfaces, this is called as capitulum and this is called as trochlea. This is a capitulum. In Latin, capitulum means head. Okay. Here the head of radius attaches. So it is called as capitulum, and it is here the attachment here to form the elbow joint. There are many ligaments and muscles joints here. Here there is a trochlea. In Latin, trochlea means pulley. In mechanics, you have studied the pulley systems, that pulley. So this pulley is present on the ulnar side. Okay, so it is called as trochlea. This was all about the humerus. Humerus bony part is over. In the next session, we will study about the humerus muscle attachments and ligament attachments and their artery also. Okay, till that keep studying. Thank you.